Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll take a closer look at President Obama's home ownership ideas as presented during yesterday's speech here in town. And we'll hear about the challenges that educators face in implementing new Common Core standards. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. President Obama's speech yesterday in Phoenix dealt with increasing home ownership opportunities for the middle class. Last night on Arizona Horizon, we looked at the speech from a broad angle. Tonight, we focus on the president's specific ideas for strengthening the housing market. Joining us now is Mike Orr, director of ASU Center for Real Estate Theory and Practice. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Your thoughts on the president's speech?
Well, there was quite a lot of different areas that he covered. The ones that interest me are the ones which the president can actually make happen himself without having to get the approval of Congress. So I was focused on his ideas for making it easier for first-time home buyers to get loans approved. I mean, he did say that he thought too many people with decent credit were getting turned down, and I was glad to hear that because I agree. I think I'd like to help first-time home buyers get into a home that they can own. I think that's good for the economy as a whole, make them committed to the market, rather than all of the homes ending up in the hands of investors and young people being long-term renters.
Well, let's go back to the president's speech and take a look at what he had to say regarding initial programs that were put in place to help strengthen the housing market. Here's the president.
Less than a month after I took office, I came here to Arizona and I laid out steps to stabilize the housing market and help responsible homeowners get back on their feet. And the truth is, it's been a long, slow process. The housing market's so big that it was going to take some time to heal when it got hurt that badly. It's taken longer than any of us would like. But during that time, we helped millions of Americans save an average of $3,000 each year by refinancing at lower rates. We helped millions of responsible homeowners stay in their homes, which was good for their neighbors because you don't want a bunch of foreclosure signs in your neighborhood. We worked with states to force big banks to repay more than $50 billion to more than 1.5 million families, largest lending settlement in history. We extended the time that folks who had lost their jobs could delay their payment on their mortgages while they kept looking for work. We cracked down on the bad practices that led to the crisis in the first place.
We hear a long, slow process, according to the president. I think some of his critics would say that would be generous at best. Why so long? Why so slow?
Well, I think the slowness is typical of big, new, complicated government programs being introduced in an area where we've not seen anything before. And at the same time, in Arizona, we have a very fast foreclosure process. So basically, the original HAMP scheme was introduced too slowly and relatively ineffectively, whereas hundreds and thousands of people were getting foreclosed very quickly from 2007 onwards. So that initial program really didn't have a great deal of effect in Arizona. The one area which you mentioned I thought was affected was relatively late in the program, introduced late 2011, which was the HARP 2.0 program, the refinancing program, and that did help a lot of. I have friends who were helped by that, where they were too far underwater to get refinanced. But when HARP came along, if their loan was owned by Fannie or Freddie, they could get a refinance and benefit from the lower rates.
Were some of the other programs, were they just slow to start, but now they're picking up speed, or were they slow to start and then they faded?
Sometimes they were too complicated. The banks had to cooperate. We had lots of people working in areas that they'd never really been familiar with before. We'd never really experienced this volume of foreclosures, this complexity. Often you're trying to get something like a short sale approved. You've got so many different people that have to get agreement, and none of them had done it before. So it just took, when we first started short sales, it could take a year to get everything lined up. Now we're actually pretty efficient at short sales. But the short sales are starting to disappear.
Yeah.
We don't have that many of them to do anymore.
So the idea of extending time that the unemployed can take as far as delaying payments, did that make much of a difference?
I think they all made some difference, but relative to the scale of the problem, it wasn't really, it wasn't preventing the issue. And we've really had a lot of pain that we've gone through. Probably 1 in 4 families in Phoenix area have been through either a short sale or a foreclosure in the last 5 years.
When the president says the housing market is beginning to heal because of some of those initial programs, you agree with that?
I think that it's not the primary reason that it's healing. It's healing because of natural market forces. We don't have an infinite number of bad loans. Most of the bad loans have been through a foreclosure or a short sale and they don't exist anymore. And the loans that have been written since 2009 have all been written to very high underwriting standards and are very unlikely to become delinquent. So we've actually gone from a very poor quality loan situation to a very high quality loan situation. And as a consequence, foreclosures are now dropping below normal as we go forward. And that's very healthy for the housing market.
Well, with that in mind, let's take a look at what the president had to say. We just looked at the initial programs and how they fared and his assessment of those programs. Let's hear about some of his newer ideas. Here's the president again.
I believe that our housing system should operate where there's a limited government role, and private lending should be the backbone of the housing market. And that includes, by the way, community-based lenders who view their borrowers not just as a number, but as a neighbor. So that's one principle. A second principle is we can't leave taxpayers on the hook for irresponsibility or bad decisions by some of these lenders or Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. We've got to encourage the pursuit of profit, but the era of expecting a bailout after you pursue your profit and you don't manage your risk well, that puts the whole country at risk. And we're ending those days. We're not going to do that anymore. Third principle is we should preserve access to safe and simple mortgage products like the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. That's something families should be able to rely on when they're making the most important purchase of their lives.
All right, your ideas. We'll start with that last one, preserving the 30-year mortgage. Makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Can you do it?
I think all of the things he said there are actually good. You know, they make sense, but actually getting there from where we are now is pretty tough. We've become almost addicted to the government providing security and backing up the lending industry with guarantees or actually buying the mortgages from the banks when they're written. And it's got to such an extreme that about 80% of all the mortgages are now being involve government guarantees or being purchased by a Fannie or Freddie. And weaning ourselves off that towards more private sector finance is going to take a lot of effort and a lot of thought.
Well, and there are ideas regarding government mortgage bond investors maybe paying a fee so as if losses do pile up, the fees would somehow cover the losses. It sounds a little bit like you're just moving the beast from one spot to another. Is it feasible? Is it likely? Is it viable?
It needs an enormous amount of willpower and determination and probably a lot of bipartisan support too. So, you know, I'm a little skeptical that it can get done, certainly within Obama's term or even in the next 10 years. I do agree it's a good thing, though. I think we've swung far too far in terms of having the government involved in housing. You know, where I grew up in Britain, you know, the banks lent the money, they took the risk. If the loans didn't work out, that was the bank's problem. The government usually didn't bail them out. And you know, I think we had a big problem because the banks were lending and they knew they weren't really going to pick up the risk if it went bad.
Right.
The government was going to cover a lot of that.
The president did mention a Senate plan to end Fannie and Freddie as we know them, and the president did say that he wants a push to wind down Fannie and Freddie.
Yep.
First of all, were you surprised to hear that?
I was surprised that it came out so black and white. Unequivocal, saying we should actually get rid of them in time. I still don't see a clear path to achieve that, though. The problem is if we lose them overnight, then where are all the loans going to come from? I mean, the housing market would freeze up. All these people that he was talking about helping would not be able to get enough money lent by the private sector. So we have to be weaned off it. It's almost like a 10-step program from getting off an addiction, you know. I haven't seen the first step yet, but I do think that, you know, I'm encouraged that everybody's thinking about it because I do think carrying on as we are is not practical.
Regardless of how fast we get there, or maybe considering how fast we get there to maybe weaning us off some of these government-backed securities and such, impact on credit?
Well, yeah, the free flow of loans to home buyers is essential to the housing market actually operating. And where do you draw the line in terms of the quality of the credit of the person you're going to lend to? At the moment, I think most people would agree the banks are being fairly cautious. If you look at who's getting the loans, they're people with credit scores of 720 and above. Not that many people below that are getting approvals. And those that are having to jump through lots of hoops in terms of providing documentation.
Is that getting better?
There's signs that it's getting better, but very slowly. And I think what the President was saying, and this is where I would agree, is if Fannie and Freddie and FHA can change their rules, simplify them, get rid of red tape, and get that sort of down to a more normal level. We went from one extreme of too lax rules to very strict rules. I think there's a sort of Goldilocks level that we should strive to get to, where we're approving those responsible people and not approving the people who are irresponsible.
I think some folks are looking for a Goldilocks level as far as price increases are concerned, because it just seems like things are either going way down or going way up. Right now we're going up.
Right.
How healthy are things right now? Let's talk about the Phoenix market.
Well, appreciation is right about 20% at the moment over last year in terms of overall sales prices. That's pretty strong, but we're no longer the most extreme. For most of last year, Phoenix was the #1 in terms of sales price appreciation, but several other areas are now moving faster than we are, particularly in California.
Why is that?
I think we started moving up first because we got through our foreclosure crisis first, but now other areas are doing the same, and they have severe limitations on how fast they can increase their supply. Once the bank-owned homes have dried up, the only source of new supply is new builds. Mm-hmm. And if you're in somewhere like San Francisco or San Jose, there's not much land left to build on, even if the builders want to build. And home prices are accelerating like crazy in Silicon Valley, where not only have you got shortage of land, lots of people with very good stock options wanting to buy houses. So it's very much a seller's market.
But as far as the Phoenix area is concerned, things settling down a little bit, and that's a good thing?
I think we're still going to see home prices increase, but at a slower rate going forward. So a little bit more normal, a little bit more settled. But I don't think we're going to see them come back down again from where they are now.
Mike, good stuff. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We want to hear from you. Submit your questions, comments, and concerns via email at arizonahorizon@asu.edu.
A new curriculum standard called Common Core will be implemented this year at Arizona Public Schools. Common Core standards include the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers Test, otherwise known as the PARCC test. Schools are facing a variety of challenges in implementing the new standards and testing. Denise Birdwell, the superintendent of the Higley Unified School District, is here now to talk about some of those challenges. Good to see you again.
Great to see you.
We talked about Common Core a while back, saying it's coming. Most folks aren't aware of it. Well, it's here, and folks better be aware of it. Let's define terms. What's Common Core?
Common Core. Basically, it's a set of skills looking at in reading, writing, and mathematics, preparing a student, K-12, for college and career readiness.
How different are Common Core standards and teaching methods? Let's talk about teaching methods. How different from what we're seeing now?
But there's a significant difference. A lot of it has to do with the depth in which we teach, the critical thinking, the analysis, the synthesis, how we apply what it is that we know in answering the complexities of learning.
Can you give an example of what a test question might be now as opposed to what it would be with the PARCC test?
Sure. In the past, and particularly looking back over the last century, a lot of it was rote learning. So it was a memorization process. But now, instead of asking you what was the War of 1812. We're going to look more at what was the impact of the War of 1812 and how did it affect society and the implications following that war.
It sounds like instead of A, B, C, or D, it's all of a sudden lots of words in there.
Indeed it is, and it is a different vocabulary. We're definitely looking at the academic vocabulary, and literature has a completely different impact as we look at the text.
How much time have schools and teachers had to adjust to these changes?
Well, we've had a little bit of time. In Arizona, we've been aligning our curriculum for a couple of years, but truly the alignment process has had a heavy focus in the last 12 months. But this year, it's all about instruction. So that's a professional development process with our teachers.
How much time? So you say the past couple of years, was that a good enough amount of time, do you think, or was more time needed?
Well, it's kind of a mixed answer. In other words, this is one of these reforms that's not funded. So how were schools going to get the work done? And so you built it into the concept of work, the natural processes. As we looked at the curriculum, we began to look at those standards. So is there enough time? Yes and no, because we couldn't pull teachers out and pay for professional development and training. So we did have some difficulty with that.
What about equipment and infrastructure?
Oh, absolutely. But you really nailed it there, because one of the issues that we face is in the aspect of materials and supplies. Without capital funding, we're not adopting new textbooks. As a matter of fact, I haven't adopted a new textbook in my district for probably 8 years.
Wow.
In that respect, there aren't new materials. So you take the old materials and you align it to the new standards. Now, in addition to that, remember that the assessment is coming here in a year. And when that assessment comes, it is technology driven. So is your infrastructure ready?
Oh, you may say technology driven. Does that mean, are the tests all done on computers?
They are. So grades 2 through 12.
My goodness. And that means, so the essay form responses, you're right there in front of the keyboard.
Well, it's even greater than that, because what you're really doing is saying to a second grader that you need to be able to drag and click and copy.
Yes.
You need to be able to scroll down the computer. And so these are skills that our students need to be taught, but they need to have the availability to work with computers to prepare for that test.
Do all school districts have the equipment, the computers needed for the tests and for the instruction?
No, they do not. And that is one of our problems, is that in Arizona, if we look at our infrastructure, and particularly rural districts in Arizona, they don't have all of the technology needs. It's not just the computer, it's the lines coming to the school. It's having the internet access in all the different points that we need it.
Well, what are they going to do? How do they adjust?
Well, that's a state issue, and it's being discussed on many levels. I know that the state is well aware that we need something to support these schools. In addition to that, it's also been looked at financially. I mean, we're talking about millions of dollars to prepare the technology assessment side. So through the Arizona School Board Association, Arizona School Business Association, $250 million to get Arizona ready in the area of technology.
And again, you mentioned earlier that this is essentially unfunded. Sounds like it's an unfunded mandate. I mean, what kind of costs are we looking at here?
Well, you know, just the cost of getting the teachers ready. So when you talk about professional development, training, potential materials, assessments at the district level so that our kids have a chance to practice that type of testing prior to a state examination, you're talking about $150 million that has been projected by the organizations who have looked at this, and including the Department of Education has taken a look and said, you know, yeah, it's about $150 to $160 million. Is
the state ready to pay for this?
Well, we haven't heard where the funds are coming from.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I mean, I'm hearing all these numbers, but I'm not hearing the numbers where they're coming from.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so we just basically wait and see if the state... Actually, you know, you're going to have to get pie this first year, I would think, just to figure out where things stand.
Yeah, well, you know, here's the deal. We know that it was a movement that came out of the governor's office. We know that it was adopted by our Board of Education. So as educators, we begin the work. We pull teachers together. We build it into the natural process of doing business. And we know that it's costing us, but the reality is it is the commitment that we make to students.
Well, with that in mind, bottom line, will this make for better educated students?
I believe it will, and I think when we look at the survey across the nation, that you find that over 75% of the superintendents across the nation have said they believe it will raise the education of children. And it's moving us in a couple different directions as well. One, we're going to raise the level of our students in the preparedness for college and career readiness. But there's another aspect here too. I look at the mobile society, and I look at how many families move from place to place for the economy. And in that regard, it helps close that gap. So today in Arizona, I'm in a math class, 6th grade, and I moved to New Mexico for work because the construction market has dropped. The student should expect that I can pick up where I'm at and be able to continue my learning.
It's funny you bring that up, because I think one of the biggest criticisms I hear of Common Core is that it's a pseudo-national, pseudo-federal program, takes control away from Arizona. There's some people see nefarious plots. We'll leave those aside. But still, the idea that it takes control away from local. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I don't think that it does. When we talk about standards, standards are a guiding principle. But when it comes to how do you teach that and what is the curriculum you use to teach that standard, that's a local control. So your local governing boards, your local teachers come together to build that material. I don't necessarily teach with the same materials that are being taught in the neighbor district next to me. Gilbert and Higley are not exactly the same. But the standard in which we are teaching, that is aligned, and that helps close the educational gap.
But districts can't say no to this, correct? I mean, this is a done deal for Arizona school districts.
Well, it was adopted by the State Board of Education, and when it's adopted by the State Board of Education, we teach the Common Core. So, no, we don't say no.
You better get used to it.
You better get used to
All right. Well, it's good to hear from you, and we'll see how it works. It's kind of exciting having this thing roll out here.
Well, I think it's good for kids, and so it is exciting, and I think teachers are embracing it.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ted.
Thursday on Arizona Horizon, we'll have a debate on the idea of deregulating the state's electric industry. We'll hear from both sides of the issue. And we'll hear about a local orchestra that performs soothing music to ease the summertime heat. That's on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.